historian, been fighting for 15 years now. Tully's asked me to talk about offline movement today, which is a bit of a nebulous concept. We've sort of narrowed it down to a couple of specific things. But before we get into the technical stuff of fighting, a couple of caveats, which is just repeating what I said yesterday. This is just how I think about things, and what I do not take anything as gospel. Go and talk to everybody else, steal what they do, and then figure out what works for yourself best. Second of all, I steal everything I do. Nothing I do is original. I have stolen from fighters all across the known world, and I encourage you to do the same. Following on from that, I'm going to try and not give you any hard and fast ideas of what to do. Fighting is problem solving, and the problems you are presented with every time you square up against an opponent are going to be different than the ones you faced last time. So giving you completely static concepts of this is what you should do is, I think, less useful. So I'm going to give you some ideas, and then I'm going to ask you to go away, play with those, and see what you come up with about how they work and what you can get from those positions. Sort of giving you building blocks and then letting you figure out the solution to the problems. For today, I'm going to say the purpose of offline movement is movement that either gains you access to deep targets on your opponent or denies your opponent access to the deep targets on you. When I say deep, I want you to imagine there's a horizontal line that splits my body in half, so you've got the front half and the back half. When we are online, you only have access to those shallow shots, so, face, the front of arm, front of body, that sort of thing. Once you step offline, you start getting access to the deeper targets. So we're talking back of head, back of body, back of leg. Does that rough sort of definition make sense? Are there any questions? Lovely. So yes, like I said, we're going to talk about some concepts. We're going to get you to go away, partner up. We're going to rotate through partners a couple of times, give you plenty of time to play around with this. Feel free to do it at full speed if you're comfortable with that. If you want a little bit more time in the fight to play around with it, just do it at 3/4 speed. If you are doing it at 3/4, just be mindful of what you're doing and make sure your technique and everything is fine, because sometimes at slower speeds you'll do stuff you can't pull off at full speed. So, the main one I want to spend time talking about today is what I call parallel movement. Otto, if I can borrow you for a second. The one I'm not going to cover today is the standard movement. So if you step in and start engaging me, I'm our standard movement that we teach to people. You sort of mirror their movement, and you tend to move and hit a circle between range and distance. That's perfectly valid, and there's a time and a place for that. The main one I want to cover today is parallel. So this time when you come in, pick the direction to step offline on me. So come in. So we're matching the direction of our opponent's movement, and we can apply that in a couple of different ways. The main thing I'm always trying to do, especially if I'm attacking, is I want to make sure my foot is outside my opponent's foot, because that just allows my hand to get into funkier spots. So, the three main ones we're going to cover are parallel moving in, parallel moving to the side, I suppose it's parallel moving in both, and then moving backwards. So, the ones, each of those do slightly different things. If we move in when our opponent comes in on us, it's a slightly more aggressive thing. Milo, if I can borrow you. So, if you step in on me and then pick a direction to attack, if I step in and match the side they're coming in on and step in on them, that cuts my opponent off mostly before their shot starts happening. But it also limits what I can throw. But this can be a nice position where you block each other up, you start playing, and then you figure out what you want to do. Step back. So that cuts down our range, but locks us up and cuts our options down. If you step in again, I've maintained a little bit of range. It's still closed, but we've both got options now. Milo can throw pretty much everything from here, especially if you've got a single-handed sword, you can throw everything from here. Let's do it this way, so I don't run into the chair. Step in again. I can angle backwards, matching his direction and maintaining range. So this is a slightly more defensive option. And we can do that on both sides. So if they cut that way, you're more than able just to step to that side. So, I guess the one fundamental I about when you're doing that is how you're moving. A lot of the time I am pushing off the foot that is like opposite to the direction I want to go. So if I am moving right, I am pushing off my left foot to generate energy and move that way quick. I'm going left, it's pushing off the right foot. And I'm centered and balanced and I'm just gliding along that plane. Any questions about that as a theory or anything that doesn't make sense?
What cues are you using from the appointment to know which of those you're going to select?
It depends what you want to do. If I'm not sure of what's happening in a fight, I will tend to be slightly more defensive. So, stand up for me, Evelyn. If you're coming in on me and you were like laying down stick, I might be like, yeah, I don't want that. Like, I want time to think about what you're doing and then respond. If it is someone I'm very familiar with, and I'm pick on Henry because I'm fighting a lot. If it's Henry, I'm like, I know what Henry does. Like, I can preset myself. So, like, I know, he might throw a snap and offhanded wrap. And I go, cool, I'm just going to step into you. I drop my shield in the way of where the wrap's going to be and throw at the same time. So it's a mix of, like, comfortability and predictability. Does that sort of answer the question?
Yeah.
Any other questions? Cool. So what we're going to do now is we're going to spend a bit of time, probably 20 minutes or so, hats, bats, and just find a partner, preferably someone you don't fight often, and just spend some time playing around with those concepts. Set yourselves up as like an A-B, so have one person go, all right, I'm just going to like step in, give you some lines to work around, and the other partner just gets to play around going, all right, what do I have access to if I step here, or if I just step sideways, or if I step into you, like what happens when our tools are in play and we like lock up against each other, and then just have a look at what you've got access to. Like if you want to, do it at full speed, step in, find out where you end up, and then go, all right, freeze, what do I have access to throw, what does this leave open on me, that sort of stuff. Any questions about the concept of what we're going to try and do? Excellent. Sorry, Everett?
When did you start using German?
I haven't studied German. I've only read like Giganti, and that's about it. Cool. Grab toys.
If I'm planning to use it to cut people off, how regularly should I wash my canvas in when they're getting